Good morning from Pyeongtaek, South Korea. My name is Brian Morton, and today I will be going over Socrates versus Jesus. Basically, this presentation will be focusing on the question, what type of impact did Socrates and Jesus have on their students and society? Again, my name is Brian Morton, and let's get to it. So first, I will start by focusing on Mr. Socrates. I have a few bullet points that I would like to go over about him. The first one being a major impact. As we know, Socrates has had a major impact on the world, specifically education and the way people think. Deeper meaning narrative. The deeper meaning narrative is what Socrates focused on, which kind of led to him being considered a troublemaker, and he also has been, as you see below, accused of corruption, seeing as he would actually challenge the thinking of people, whereas at that time it seemed as though people would just go with one thing and they wouldn't really want to be challenged. You can still see this today in our society. But yeah, so he was known for actually challenging the thinking of others. So he created the Socratic method, which is the method that Socrates used, that he employed in his philosophical analysis. The Socratic method consists of a dialogue between individuals that is based on asking and answering questions. And what it does is it stimulates the critical thinking and it draws out ideas. And basically, so consider it applying pressure, right? We do it all the time since we are in the education field, especially in elementary classroom, where instead of just giving a simple answer, we ask for students to dig deeper, and we often answer questions with another question. That kind of leads to, a rabbit hole, so to speak, where students can arrive at the answer and they cherish the answer much more once they get it that way, as opposed to a teacher just giving the answer to a student. Socrates was quoted saying, an unexamined life is not worth living. And lastly, I have that he was accused of corruption, which is, that's a strong title, right? Accused of corruption. We don't think that necessarily. However, at the time, you could imagine how challenging the thinking and the traditions of others around you would pose as a problem for some. Next, we're moving on to our very own fan favorite, Jesus Christ. Definitely scrutinized, as most of us know. I'm pretty sure all of us understand and know. He is definitely scrutinized. He performed many miracles, which is slightly different from Socrates. He also received the undivided attention from his followers. So Jesus himself spoke and students listened. His accounts were from only his students, so he didn't do any writing or didn't have any books that we could read. It came directly from his students. Unjustly condemned to death. Unjustly being the key word, right? And strategic questioning. He was accused as a troublemaker. Now, the funny thing about these bullet points, majority of them can be shared with Socrates. So Socrates also had the undivided attention from his followers. Accounts from only the students. He was unjustly condemned to death. A different means of death, however, death nonetheless. Strategic questioning, which is something I went over already as far as his method. And he was accused as a troublemaker. When we go back to Socrates, we can note also that every single one of these bullet points that we have could be applied to Jesus Christ as well, having a major impact, giving a deeper meaning narrative, challenging thought, not necessarily the Socratic method, but and obviously accused of corruption, which is what led to both of their untimely death. Lastly, multiple parallels can be drawn between Jesus and Socrates. There are many opinions that surround the two distinguished philosophers, but one thing is for sure: the impact of both Jesus and Socrates has transcended over multiple generations and will continue to serve as a source for both believers and non-believers until the end of time. And I would like to thank you for listening to my presentation.